it's not my fault if we get the bye. Those things happen. I think what we'll instead do, since we do have the bye, is we'll just go play a casual game. And typically this isn't the place that everybody likes to go, because there's typically a lot of, oh, how do we do this again? There's usually a lot of budget decks, so I'm going to get a game started. This is going to be a best of 3 match, and we'll go from there. That happened pretty quickly. I paused it, and about 2 seconds later, we were up and going. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. So, we got a different composition. We can't count on, you know, having all of these awesome things happen to us right away, but there's a Temple Garden, which could go a lot of different ways. Temple Garden into Green Sun Zenith. Well, that takes away this process on the first turn. I'll just play the basic Swamp, and we'll hope that my opponent thinks that I am something really awkward. Yeah. Possibly could have cut down the time a little bit, just because, I mean, we're only going to have 25 minutes in round, and if this goes too long, we'll end up having to wait. Our opponent's Smiters, and we're probably going to decay that. Nothing really there for the end of his turn. I'm going to cut my end of combat stop there. Looks like we did get a second Abrupt Decay, so yeah, we are looking to kill something this turn, next turn, and possibly Liliana, depending on what happens. I would say from the land base that my opponent's deck looks like it may be a budget deck, but we shall see. Go ahead and take 1 from the little sapling there. We'll stop it from being 5. Costing 3. Smiter is something to actually realize. Liliana may not be the best card in this matchup, so Smiter does come into play when you discard it. You can pause the video there to see. Okay. So we'll take 1. In fact, where's that card thing? Bang. Alright, so there's that one. As long as you control another multicolored permanent, it gets that in Shroud. Alright, well right now we do not have another multicolored permanent. I'm going to actually go get the Savannah and drop the bird down. We'll be able to Abrupt Decay. We can Wasteland and Savannah. We'll be able to Wasteland this next turn. We'll Abrupt Decay this next turn, and we'll be able to play Liliana all in the same turn. So he'll be down to, hopefully he'll play a land and something else smaller. Or is it a Green Sun? Hero. Okay. That's not a big deal. That'll die. Oh, that has Shroud now. Whoops, my bad. That is my fault entirely. RTFC. RTFC. Not a big deal. We can still kind of do the same thing. Let's pop that down. It's just that this, now we have the bird that's kind of acting as a sacrificial lamb. So, yeah. Let's make him sacrifice a creature. Okay, so he got rid of the one that I was actually worried about and not the other one. And we'll go from here. We'll make decisions based on what we run into. He is attacking Liliana. I'm going to keep the Liliana for right now. We'll lose the bird. Creatures would be nice. Avacyn Pilgrim. Not as worried about the Avacyn Pilgrim. I am going to keep a blocker. We'll each discard. I probably should have taken a look first. It definitely should have taken a look first. A double striker. And we still have this up. With the second double striker there. Alright. That's going to get pretty big. But it does cost 4. Okay. Costs 4. Let's go ahead and do this. We have a blocker for that. Next turn we can draw a card if we need to. this shouldn't be too much of an issue to deal with. Okay, so he's got his double striker. We will deal with it accordingly. I expect his guy to come in. Yep. And most of these problems wouldn't be problems, again, if I had remembered to do this before this hit play. So we're kind of tossing cards underneath our own mistake. Some of it's me just playing fast, hoping to be done before... I didn't realize I was blocking. Hoping to be done before... There's Bob. Let's go ahead and... We'll lose Liliana here. He's probably going to... Yeah, I figured he'd sacrifice that this time. And we'll do one of these. And I will be drawing a card next turn. I figure that I've got a little bit of time. As long as I don't reveal a 5, we should be okay. Yeah, here's 4 damage coming in. But we have enough things that we can deal with that. An aggro-based deck should not be an issue. Into another Smiter. Let's go ahead and take a look. Which got us an Abrupt Decay. Okay. So that's the Smiter solved. That's everything solved. We're golden. Let's just go do this. End of turn, we'll be able to put the Batterskull, or we'll be able to go get the Batterskull next turn. Provided we don't flip too many dangerous things, we should be perfectly fine. We may end up flipping something that could be problematic. We have a turn to kind of get everything taken care of. Yeah, I should have just killed this on his turn. I don't know what he's playing. Like, as you can see, he's just got a bunch of stuff, as far as we can tell. And we don't have that stuff. But, I digress. Let's go ahead and drop this down. We'll get a 5 out of the deck. Yes, I'd love to use that. We'll take the 5. And just beat in with Bob. Get in there. Alright, so we should be better. We should have recovered in theory, provided, again, we don't flip the wrong things. Dryad Militant. Sure. The foil to Deathrite Shaman, or to, well, yeah, kind of to Deathrite Shaman. Doing this fetch wasn't necessary. That was actually a very dumb thing to do. I'm still going to swing my Bob into that. He conceded. Won the match. Okay, that's terrible. Okay, we were going to draw a land, which means that, okay, we hit land into land. Deathrite Shaman, because we probably would have popped this, so we would have had the other land in hand and just been able to swing across with both, played it and whatnot. I don't like it when they concede the match. We're going to jump into this one here and hope that this fires off. We'll just keep playing until we get to a point where, hey, look, they aren't doing anything. And I am actually going to keep this hand. Bunch of 1-drops, things that we can do. We are on the draw, which oh god, I told you guys the last time it's dangerous to have 1-land hands, but as you can see, these good feelings that I get are just kind of pulling out and doing stuff. So I'm gonna pop this Shaman down. Hopefully that'll entice him to bolt that and not me. We can get the okay, still alive. Well, let's take a look at what he's doing. We'll make a black. And I'm going to duress him. It's goblins. Okay. That makes my choice of what I did much worse. But we shall overcome. And what was his hand again? Mountain Matron Ringleader. Okay, so there's nothing we can do to just kind of get rid of everything under the sun. We'll deal with stuff as it comes up. But for right now, I'm going to get the Bayou and drop this down here. That does mean that we are without a plains, which was my bad. Alright, there's a Matron. Get what you will. I'm actually going to hold this, by the way. I'm happier that I saved, or that I used this as opposed to this. I can wait until he ringleaders and hopefully be able to kind of deal with problems as they come up. Chieftain, not a threat right now. Bang. Yes, always. We're going to put these two back. That's fine. And I'm going to actually fetch out one of those, so... we'll get the scrub land. We do have Liliana in the deck right now. Maybe not later, but right now, yes, we do have her. I'll get in that way. I know he could swing back, but I don't think he's going to be swinging back just yet. And we can keep these. Yeah, this is going to be the ringleader. As I predicted. So, Chieftain, Tarfire, Mog, War Marshal. Nice hand. What are we worried about out of this? Probably the Siege Gang Commander is the most threatening right now. So, we will work to deal with that problem. Is there a green creature that I really want out here? Not really. What I would like is Sword of Fire and Ice or Batterskull. He doesn't know that we have either of those, so I'm just going to keep going with the land. And I think I will actually keep the Green Sun Zenith as well. So, let's see. We wanted that card so that we could take away a Siege Gang Commander. Because we have the answers to everything else. We'll go ahead and filter this through. I'm not expecting a Magus effect. That I'm actually trying to bait one out right now. So, let's see. I could eat this land. That doesn't seem too bad. Exile that land. We'll make a green. This will allow us to go get another knight, which is just as problematic as a Goyf, and we still have an active knight. In fact, it's the same size. It's bigger than a Goyf right now. Potentially bigger. So, again, we only have to actually use these on spells that matter. And right now, the Chieftain is the only one that matters. With Mog, War Marshal. We're going to sacrifice this one. Go get this fetch land and use this to actually get the basic plains. And we're going to take out the Chieftain. Alright. So, of cards that he has in his hand that are potentially threatening, there are not very many. Liliana, we could start going for hand. That's actually not a terrible idea. We'll pop those two back and ditch them as such. Let's see. We need to remember to leave up a green mana. So, I know I'm making it so that it's more difficult for me to be able to stop his things. But right now we're just kind of working on clearing out problems. And right now his hand is the problem. There we go. There's a mountain. So we can stop beating up on our graveyard. We can turn either of these into a black land, a basic black land, or the Mazavith, which actually seems like a good call. And we'll just try and keep leveling up Liliana to the point that hopefully she can deal some real damage in here by separating out creatures and lands. If he doesn't have a lackey, there's no real way to do it, but there will probably be a better change than just creatures and lands. So, goblins was not something I was expecting to see. Although I'm happier that it's goblins than burn. Here's his matron. And we can still stop some damage. There's no way that he can kill Liliana this turn. I take that back. Yes, he can. He's got that Tarfire in hand. Now, he put a Chieftain into play. Or he's got a Chieftain? Okay. Chieftain is not the worst. Let's see what he decides to do with that. Again, he's got the Tarfire in hand. He's got one other card in hand. And we don't know what that card is, I don't think. Yeah, just the Tarfire. That's all that we know. There we go. So we will activate these two knights just because we kind of want to deal with, you know, the potential of things happening. This one's going to get the basic swamp. This one Do I have another fetch land in here? Yes. Is actually going to get Dryad Arbor. Alright. So we still see the Bob. We see an Abrupt Decay. We do need to be careful. He has a little bit more than we expected, but we can decay this, and that leaves him with 2 cards in hand. We can play the Bob next turn. Yeah. We don't want to go too low. Let's just get this out of the way and make him discard. So Liliana is at 5. Alright, so he's got the Tarfire in hand, and we can gain some life back. That is one thing that we will be able to do. So if this gets to blockers and whatnot, we'll be able to gain some life back. And I think end of turn I'm going to turn this into the Maze of Ith and then start beating across. And I'm waiting this long. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. We'll gain the 2 life. We'll be in a better shape, hopefully. We'll turn this into the Maze of Ith here shortly. Yep. And that one can become the Maze of Ith. We can start beating across the field for extremely large amounts. We see a Swords, which Swords is nice. Abrupt Decay is nice as well. He Tarfired there. We can't afford to just kind of blatantly toss out removal, but we will take the card out of his hand. I'm going to keep the Swords on top of the library, and we will Abrupt Decay here, because if we do find a Pulse, it's better off to Pulse the tokens. Take the other card out of his hand, which Liliana in this game isn't exactly how she normally is, which was a Vial. That should have just hit the field. We'll attack there. We now need that stop at end of combat. Yep. So we deal that. Next turn we get to start forcing trades. We can create an awkward situation with his lands and goblins, and we can actually Armageddon his lands. Yeah, this game was done. And let's see, by name, move that out of the way for a second. Converted mana cost. Thalia is very nice against goblins. She has first strike, so she kills off almost their entire team. But we're looking at something a little bit differently right now. We're going on the kill everything plan. That being said, we still do want a little bit of discard against this character, against this person. Liliana, I know she did very well there, but she's not going to be what we're looking for. Neither is Sigarda, so that seems to be a clean cut. Are there any 2 other cards that we don't want? Not really. Alright. I guess we could cut a sword or a bird. And the reason we do want these is because there are things in their hand that we want to be able to hit. So, yeah. Convert them. Let's do by name. Okay, so this is what we've gotten rid of. Is there anything up here that we actually want? Not really. Let's go. And I do just kind of once over all of that, so yeah. This hand is going to be a lot slower. It may be too slow for goblins, but we'll at least be able to try and fetch for an Arbor if he goes for Lackey. So I'm going to try and keep that around. I don't like the idea of LDing myself, but yeah, here. Okay, Vial. Vial is a lot more easily dealt with than Lackey. He didn't get the chance to see any equipment, so that is a thing. And we're going to start tossing lands in the yard now. Next turn we'll be able to pop this down. Probably getting... I don't know which one we're going to get. And I didn't fetch this because I did want another land, but I didn't want that land. Let's go ahead and get the Scrub. Well, we know basics may be a problem here. Let's just get this and pop this little sucker down. From here we'll be able to get Sword of Fire and Ice. I think that that'll do better. Yes, I'd like to do that. Because I don't think he's got the Tarfires and everything else. I think that the Mystic could easily die. I'd rather get this and just toss it out there onto something. Next turn we can play Knight, which will be outside of Tarfire range. There's the lackey that I was hoping didn't ever show up. But he does only have 3 cards in hand. Hopefully none of these are ringleaders or matrons. If they are, it's worst case scenario for us, or a worst case scenario for us. It doesn't look like they are, so yay. Shaman. No, we're going to drop the Knight. Just pop this down here. I'll take the damage. It shouldn't be too much of a big deal once we get to starting this process. And we do have a Kitchen Finks, which Kitchen Finks may have been a better choice, but we'll do Kitchen Finks probably next turn and turn one of these lands into Maze of Ith, just getting the 4th one down. There's a Relic. Yeah, I figured that you had something. Be kind of silly if you didn't. Sure. If he doesn't really show us anything, we'll just continue on with this plan. There's a matron. Not fun times. We need to kill this. We need to stop. Oh, that's cute. You got my Knight. So maybe that's what we do. Another land. Well, let's go ahead and take a little bit more damage. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. We'll go ahead and get the green. We'll play the Shaman. Yep. I should just always yield to that, because I know that it's going to be dealing me damage. And I'm playing the Sphinx. I'm playing the Sphinx because it's going to gain us life. It's 2 creatures in 1, and we can deal a little bit of whatnot with that. We're also going to get across with our Stoneforge, and next turn we'll be able to drop this sword into play. Let's see. So if he does his thing with that, we're going to go ahead. Oh, he is double blocking. Well, I'm actually going to make this blocker 1. And the reason is he's at 4 mana. If he has a Kiki Jiki in hand, that is a combo that I do not want to deal with. And there's no way that this is going to beat through 3 guys, essentially. I mean, he could ringleader into bounce Tarfire and then swing in. But that's really, yeah. I was going to say, that's really going to be a difficult thing for him to do. And next turn we get the sword no matter what. We can swing in probably with the Shaman. War Chief. Yep. Yeah, I think we're going to swing in with the Shaman. We're going to block. I don't mind this trade. If he's got a Tarfire or anything like that, it's the same situation. That is cutesies. Let's just get this down. Yep. Some extra damage. Still hooking up to the Shaman. We've got all the mana we need. Alright, so that's on there. Let's just send him across. That's going to kill that lackey. Not dealing with that. We're not doing that fight. We should be perfectly fine. Don't need the end of turn stop. And next turn we'll have our 3rd basic land. So even if he does play Blood Moon out of the board. Ooh, Siege Gang Commander. I know that one. Better Siege Gang than Kiki Jiki, though. Although it could be both. So that's a thing. So yeah, we got this. We can still get across this way. And we can shoot the Siege Gang. He'll probably shoot at that. Not a big deal. The Vial can stay up at this point. He's only got the couple cards in hand. We just need to get rid of that. I'm expecting him to shoot here. He might shoot at me. But, yeah. You should be doing this guy. Don't sacrifice a token. Okay. So, yep. Shoot at me and that. Alright. Combat damage, very nice. Da 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 da. Interesting. Yeah, so we don't actually get to have a creature there. The reason we, or a card there, the reason we don't is because there was a target involved, and the target became an illegal target. Let's go ahead and drop these two. Probably should have got in for the extra damage, but I think we'll be okay. We can gain some life here. We'll gain a life. But I think I'm just going to move this over onto Bob. Bob can start doing the swing-ins and all that other fun stuff. We do have 2-5 or 1-5 left in the deck, that being the Batterskull. So that's a thing. We'll have to kind of race this out. And what did you draw? Ringleader. Okay. Well, this is exactly what I didn't want to have happen. It doesn't look like it had too much, just a chieftain. So he's got chief in hand and he can't get it into play. We're going to be hitting across for a good amount. We'll still have some life gain to back up, as well as, yeah, I think we're good. Let's just not die to him. Ooh, well, that's interesting. So let's see, if I swing with both of these, he's got to block one, and he can't block this one. If I had gotten in for that 1 damage, that'd be 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we may be in a pickle. He does have the chieftain, which I don't think he can play right now. No, he can't, because that'll cost him life. But we're going to be at 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the Batterskull down. So that's 2 blockers. 3 blockers. So as long as he doesn't get a siege gang, we should be fine. No. We'll have to shoot this during upkeep and then Swords Bob. No, we won't have to shoot this. We'll shoot this during upkeep and then we'll Swords the Batterskull and then we'll move the Batterskull. Singleton 5. Alright. So, no blocks, we know that. We do this extra damage that stops him from being able to play the chieftain. We get a scrub land. We can pop this down. So no chieftain for him. Yeah, you can have whatever cards you want. Unless he tapped out, there was no way that I was going to be able to get that. And we can now pop that at end of turn if need be. Yeah, we'll pop that at end of turn. That'll let us move the Batterskull. Still Swords the Bob. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we should be able to move both in theory. Sorry, move the germ. Or Swords the germ, not Swords the Bob. Alright. So we can knock that out. And we still have a wasteland. Okay. Now we can Swords said germ token. Now we should not be able to die. Except to a Tarfire. Okay. I should have eaten something. But he didn't draw anything. We were going to hit a Swords. We would have died the hard way. Or if he did draw the Tarfire, we'd have survived. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and end this one. This has been us versus the practice room. So, I hope you guys have had fun. Hopefully, the next round will be starting up soon. And I will see you all shortly.